Today's episode goes out to all the dads. Happy Father's Day to my dad Roger, my stepdad Neil, and my father-in-law Mike. Hello everyone and welcome to For These Are My Thoughts. If you're new to the channel, I'm Blake. Today is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hopefully you are able to celebrate the dads in your life today, either by giving them a call, or if you're able to do so, to spend some time with them. Before we continue, I encourage you to please click the like button. That's the little thumbs up button, and when you click that, it simply tells YouTube that you like the video. And I strongly encourage you to click the subscribe button. Subscribing does not cost you any money. It doesn't do anything like that. You don't even get an email. It just lets YouTube know that you are enjoying For These Are My Thoughts, and it helps others find the channel and find what we're doing here. You might need to set up a YouTube account, which is really quick and really simple, and you don't get hardly any, if any, emails from YouTube by signing up and subscribing. If you're new to the channel, the goal For These Are My Thoughts is to provide you a place where you can escape from the world for just like 20 minutes each week, where you can relax and recharge and be entertained. New episodes come out every Sunday, 9 a.m. Central Time, and if you want to check out previous episodes, you can check out the Season 1 playlist. This week's episode is going to be a little bit different. So usually I have a guest on the show to talk, or we play a game, or we taste test something. But this week it's just me. But I did get a little bit help from those of you that follow on Instagram and Facebook, and we're going to be calling these episodes Ghost Hosts. That is the title of these episodes. So you can participate in these Ghost Host episodes by following For These Are My Thoughts on Instagram. You can search at f.t.a.m.t, and that's all lowercase. Or you can search us on Facebook and like us on Facebook by simply searching For These Are My Thoughts. And so this past week, I asked a series of questions on our Instagram and Facebook stories about dads and granddads or grandfathers. And we're going to hear some of the responses to those questions that I put out there from some of you viewers. And so today, we're going to celebrate dads together. I am fortunate enough that I have two pretty awesome, pretty stellar dads, my dad Roger and my stepdad Neil. And I'm very fortunate to have an awesome father-in-law as well, Mike. And I've also had some pretty groovy father figures in my life, like maybe a coach or a pastor or a family friend or something like that. And dads are many things, as many of you know, and they can be weird, they can be particular, they can be stern, sometimes angry, and loving and sentimental, and they can be big softies, and they can do all of that in the same conversation. Maybe that's just my experience, but I wanted to know what you have experienced with your dads. So we're going to dive into the questions now and see what your experience have been with your dads or your granddads. And so the first question that we're going to go through today is, what is the best advice your dad has ever given? As we go through these questions, I encourage you to answer in the comment section what you have for these questions and what your answer is, and we can kind of discuss those in the comments too. But probably the best response that I got for what is the best advice your dad has ever given is from Kyle. And Kyle's dad told Kyle, the best kind of beer is free, and the second best kind of beer is cold. And I definitely agree to that. Amen, Kyle. In fact, I have a beer right here. Yeah. Maybe you didn't know this, but today is the 21st episode of For These Are My Thoughts. Nice. Oh yeah, summer shandy. Pretty good. Not a sponsor. But yeah, I agree. Beer is great. The second best, the best advice that any of my dads and father figures have given me is to not drink Bud Light. So Kyle, yeah, your dad and my dads are on the same page there. But maybe you have had some great advice from your dads. I think if you were to sum up my father and my stepdad's advice to me over my entire life, it probably boils down to don't be stupid. And we'll actually get to some advice that they have given throughout my life and what I've kind of learned from them at the end of the episode, so stay tuned for that. The second question that I asked was, what is the most dad thing your dad has done? So I think we all have dads that maybe tell some dad jokes, or do things that are just really goofy and silly. I follow some meme pages on Instagram that are essentially dad jokes, or jokes of dads being dads. And my older brother pointed out one time where I think my family was at the fair, and the song "Moves Like Jagger" by Maroon 5 was out. Not a huge fan of it, but it was out. And we were talking about dance moves, and our dad pointed out that he has the moves like Jagger, and then proceeded to dance in the midway of the county fair. And that was an experience, to say the least. But like you probably know, dads are awkward, and they're supposed to do that to you. Instagram follower Rachel responded, every time Billy Mays says, "Hi, I'm Billy Mays," her dad says, "Hi, I'm Steve." And I just picture like a dad, my dad, or like a dad that looks like Billy Mays, I guess, who's sitting in his chair and just sitting there and saying, "Oh, you're Billy Mays? Well, I'm this guy," right? I think that's really awesome. My dads have said some dad things, but I think that one takes the cake. Like I said, my dad danced in the middle of the midway at our county fair and did things really wild like that. Maybe your dad is like Rachel's dad, who likes to joke at the infomercial people. Maybe your dad likes Flex Seal or something like that. Nice little Father's Day gift. But maybe the most dad thing that my dad ever did, in my opinion, as a kid, was when I was in half-day kindergarten. My older brother and sister were in normal grade school, I think like kindergarten and maybe second or third grade. And the playground of the school we went to had this massive like structure of thing, like jungle gym, I guess. My dad let me go play. It's the winter time, and he let me go play. And he kind of like stood on the outside of the car, had his hands on the hood, and was reading the local paper while I played on this jungle gym. And at the very top of the jungle gym was just one bar. And I thought, oh, it would be super awesome. My dad will be super impressed if I can just stand and like say, "Hey, Dad, I'm here at the very top of the thing." And so I did that, and I got up to the very top, and I didn't realize that it was full of ice. And I said, "Hey, Dad." And as I said it, I slipped, and I hit my back on that top bar and proceeded to alternate from stomach to back to stomach to back until I hit the ground. And I was crying. And my dad, maybe like many of your dads responded, did not really like move his paper much, but simply just said, "Are you okay?" And I was crying, and he simply laughed and said, "Yeah, I bet you won't do that again." And yeah, he's right. I did not do that again. But maybe your dad has done some dad things. Pop those in the comment section. The next question that I asked you and that you responded with was, what is the most grandpa thing your grandpa has done? Being from a blended and extended family, I have had lots of grandparents. I have had, I think, like 3 or 4 sets of grandparents. And I've had decent relationships with all of my grandfathers, which is really awesome. And the majority of the responses that were turned in was, "My grandpa is super blunt," or "My grandpa says what he wants because he doesn't care what anyone thinks." And yeah, I can agree with that. And that is why someday I hope to be a grandfather, so I can say and do whatever I want. But maybe the most grandpa thing that one of my grandpas did is my mom's dad, Grandpa Bill. He had rolls of newspaper that he would have around his house, and he would put duct tape on one end. And he never hit any of us kids with it, but they had a really, really yippy and like barky dog. And he would kind of like not hit the dog with it. I don't want PETA coming after me, but they would. He would toss it in the dog's direction. Or one of the things I remember a lot is taking a lot of cat naps at my grandparents' house in the summertime, where my grandpa would have the Braves or the Cubs on. That's baseball. And my grandparents, my mom's parents, were huge Atlanta Braves fans. And I remember my grandpa would sit in his recliner, and he would have that newspaper with him. And anytime the Braves gave up a run or did something bad, he would smack it on this really, really old reclining armchair, and would then proceed to say things that a man in the Navy would say. But maybe your grandpa has said some things like that too. The last question I think that I have is, what is the most thoughtful thing your dad has ever done? My wife Hannah, I think, had the best response to this, and that is simply her dad every birthday sends her flowers or got her flowers on her birthday. He did that this last year. We've been married for a year now, and he did that for her then. He did it for her in college, and in my opinion, you're not going to beat that. I think that is the sweetest thing that a dad could do for his daughter or daughters, because Hannah has sisters too. And maybe your dad has done something sweeter and more thoughtful. You can pop that in the comment section below too. But that's it. Those are the responses. This is a little bit of a shorter episode, and that's by the intention. So hopefully you can go and spend some time with your grandpas or maybe your dad and spend some time with them. I just want to say again, happy Father's Day to all the dads and granddads and father figures out there. I want to thank you all so much for sending in your responses and being my guest this week, my co-host this week. I look forward to doing some of these again, hopefully sometime. You can follow us on Instagram again at f.t.a.m.t, and that's all lowercase, for more questions and fun like this. This week I have 2 recommendations. The first one is one that, if my dads have taught me anything, they have taught me to speak out when things are wrong and to speak up when things are wrong. And so the first recommendation I have is to educate yourself on racial justice and racial injustice and inequality. And I encourage you to listen to other people, to love others, and to learn from them. That is what my dads would encourage me to do. And I recommend that you do that as well. The second one, again, is to call up your dad or your grandpa if you're able to today. Maybe answer this question for one of these questions we went through today with them, and let them know maybe the most thoughtful thing that they've ever done for you. Those are things that grandparents and dads like to hear, I'm sure of it. If you're able to, if you feel comfortable enough doing that, maybe give them a hug or a handshake, whatever's customary for you, but take some time today and let your dads, your granddads, your father figures in life know that you care for them and that you love them. Feel free to respond again to one of the questions that we had in the comment section below. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Until next time, these are our thoughts. We're 21, baby. We'll see you soon. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. Please give us a like and subscribe hitting the circle button here. You can also watch more episodes hitting the box.